Brian Byrne on CamGlen Radio.
I'm Brian Byrne. This is CamGlen Radio 107.9 FM. I'm going to revisit a conversation I had with Mike Peters prior to the launch of his In the Poppy Fields CD, and it was good chatting to him about that CD, about the alarm, and his potential World Cup song. Hello Mike, how are you?
Hello Brian, good evening.
Thanks for joining us in CamGlen tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Good
in
stuff.
Scotland.
Yeah, you've got a long history going back, bringing the band to Scotland, yeah?
Yeah, very long time. We first came up before we recorded the alarm. We can remember coming up and playing in places like the Bungalow Bar in Paisley and along the coastline there, and in Kirkcaldy and places like that. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
Bungalow is still going strong. We played there a few weeks ago, Mike. But I wanted to ask you, 10th of October 2015, 2,000 fans in the Millennium Centre in Wales. Man in the cameo jacket, celebrating 30 years of Alarm. How did that feel for you?
Well, it felt like the start of something, which is what you always hope when you get to milestones in your career.
Yeah.
That there's still a lot more to come, and I think that's what it felt like to me. It was the biggest gig we played in Britain in decades.
Yeah.
It was a full house. We had an orchestra. The music felt fresh. It felt like we had a lot of places to go beyond that. Which is all you can hope for when you're a musician. You aim for milestones and with albums and with tours and periods of your music, and then you always hope there's going to be somewhere else to go and the door doesn't close and it doesn't get to the end. I've always loved being in a band. I've been grateful to be part of a musical entity for such a long time, and long may it continue. That's always been my hope, that the enjoyment continues and that people still want to come and see what the band's all about and hear my voice and hear what I've got to say in my songs. So I'm a very lucky man in that respect.
Cool. I mean, how did that show come about? I mean, what was your thought?
Yeah, to be honest, the seed was sown when I was invited by the BBC to perform a version of Declaration on our 30th anniversary of that particular album. So that would be in 2014. And they said, look, we've got the National Orchestra of Wales here. Why don't you do something for them? And if you can get it together fast, it was pretty quick project really. We only had 30 days to turn it around and write string arrangements for a full orchestra, which we did with the arranger John Quirk, who did an amazing job. Yeah. And then that show was really behind closed doors at the BBC for a radio show. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they wanted to record it for broadcast on the internet. And unbeknownst to me, they'd got the whole of U2 to record Blaze of Glory from the Declaration album, sending a message of how important the album was to them and to our relationship together. And so that became a very viral moment, them sort of saying paying their respects to the Alarm. So that triggered off a lot of new interest in the band, and then that it was recorded behind the scenes at the Millennium Centre in Cardiff, and the management said, "Look, we've got to do this in the main hall with all the fans there," and so that's what led to it.
Oh, cool. I mean, and then today you're putting out a brand new single, In the Poppy Fields. I mean, brilliant song. I mean, why is that song so important to you?
Well, again, it was the centrepiece of the Millennium Centre concert, and it seemed to, because it digs back into the history of the band. It references signposts along the way that from the very beginning to where we are, and it seemed to tie together things like 68 Guns and Blaze of Glory with the modern era songs with My Town and 45 RPM and Without a Fight, those kind of songs, and so it was, and the song itself finished in the Millennium Centre with a cascade of poppies falling from the sky, like they had done 30 years earlier when we recorded the Strength single and finished the video with poppies falling down on the band, and the poppies been associated with the group since 1982, and with it, the Poppies Falling from the Sky album coming out at this time of year, we thought, well, it's Armistice Day, let's pay our respects, not just to the forces and people we've lost along the way that have made the sacrifices for our generation to have the sort of life we lead. But we choose it to remember in our community, in the Alarm family. We remember people who have been at the gigs in the past but can't be with us today. People who climb mountains with our Love, Hope, Strength Foundation who've lost their personal battle against cancer and situations like that. And so that's on the 11th hour of today. That's what our community in the Alarm, that's what we remember in our family.
Yeah, I mean, how do people get hold of the single, Mike?
Well, it's online, obviously, in iTunes, and it's Amazon. It's in record stores, the 10-inch EP, although it's quite limited, so it might be quite hard to get that. But it's obviously on Spotify and all those things. But if you go to the alarm.com website tonight, you'll see a whole video of the song. It's on the front page of the website. You can hear it there, and it's part of the Poppies Falling from the Sky album, which again is available online. It's out in stores. It's on. You can get it from thealarm.com. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and I'll be playing it right after we stop chatting. I've got a few questions. People have been getting in touch with me all week,
Great,
Mike,
right.
just to reach out to you. What if I said the date to you, the 6th of February, 1983?
Yeah.
Would that pull anything forward?
Yeah, I was in Glasgow.
Yes.
At Tiffany's playing with, and it was the start of it. I think it was the first night of U2's War Tour. I seem to remember. I think we played with was that right?
No, it's not.
No.
Imagine me cutting across Mike Peters. If I said the Glasgow Apollo.
Oh right. Oh, 83.
83.
6th of.
With stiff little fingers.
No, that was 82.
Was it?
Yeah.
There you go. This is live radio for you.
Yeah, that was 1982 when we played with SLF. It was their last ever gig as a band that they were breaking up, and we played Newcastle the night before. And I remember it was a great gig, but I remember them custard pieing each other at the end of the night. So that was strange, but it was a fantastic gig, and I think we made a great relationship with the SLF audience there. That it was Jake's way of handing his audience over to his, and here's a young band that got similar values to us. And Jake was, we knew Jake from when we were called 17 when we were playing in
I was going to ask you that. I mean, that was the first time I ever saw the Alarm that night. I got the date wrong, but that was the first night I ever saw the Alarm. I went to see Stiff Little Fingers. That was the last ever show. We were all kind of, and this support band come on and blew us away. I was there with my pal Stephen Williams, and we went the next day looking for the single by the Alarm. We went to the record shop. We got this band, the Alarm, and they did. It was as cool as anything.
Yeah, well, it was a great time for us. We've still got a lot of fans that like yourself, came into contact with the Alarm for the first time then, and I have to thank Jake for giving us that opportunity, because he'd been around when we were called 17. We met him at a gig in London.
Oh wow!
And he lived up to all the expectation. He listened to our demo tape. He wrote some notes about it. He invited us to meet him one day so he could go through what he thought about the band, and he really helped us to become the Alarm.
Yeah,
so he's a great guy, and we're still friends to this day. And I still respect what he does. He's a great artist in his own right. He stuck to his beliefs all the way through, and they're still as valid today as they ever were. SLF.
No, yeah, I'm hoping to have Jake on the show in a couple of weeks' time. He's coming to Glasgow, and they put out a live album from the Barrowland, and we chat to him about that.
Yeah, well, that's the Barrows is their spiritual home.
That's the one, St Patrick's Night.
And we shared a drummer for many years with Steve Grantley, who plays with SLF now, and we've got a lot of affiliation with the band. So we're long may they continue.
Okay, quick question for you. Earlier in the year, we had Eddie McDonald on the show.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Mucker? And basically asked him
today.
Yeah, well, I hope he didn't give you the answer to this question. Basically asked Eddie what was his favourite ever live Alarm show. Have you any idea what he picked out?
His favourite, his personal favourite.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Probably one of the Barrowland shows, something like that.
Well, he picked out the Los Angeles gig.
Oh, the UCLA gig.
Yeah. What was your recollections of that day?
Well, it was the Alarm at its, the original bands. That was our finest time period as a band. I think live on stage.
Brilliant.
I've just spent a year playing that album live myself, and it's it's such an energy to the set list, the songs. My personal favourite gig happened about 3 or 4 months prior to that gig. In the late '85, we played at Cal State Fullerton, and some of it was filmed for a cutting-edge TV show on MTV, and that was an amazing gig.
Brilliant.
But that period, I think that then we were all pulling in the same direction as individuals. As a band, we all wanted the same goal. And after that, everything really changed for us. I think the one thing we didn't have in the Alarm that, say, SLF had, they had Gordon Ogilvie behind them. Someone they could turn to who wasn't in the band. Like U2 had Paul McGuinness. Or you go back and you look at the Beatles and Brian Epstein. They had those mentors who we came from a small town from North Wales, and we didn't have that. We didn't have somebody who could help educate us a little bit, or just to take the rough edge off our naivety, or glue us together now and again when we were, or help us when we were uncertain. So
most bands struggle like that, don't they?
They really do, and I think you do need that fifth member who can help you.
Yes, a wee bit removed.
We had our manager Ian Wilson. He was great. Up to that point, it was his idea to play the UCLA concert, but not all the band bought into Ian. There was always a bit of misgiving about him or whatever, and unfortunately he didn't quite have enough sway to really hold us all together, and so when things started happening behind the scenes of the band, say a couple of guys, Nigel and Dave, married into American families and started going to live, spend all their time in America, and all of a sudden it became difficult to be in a band, and we had loss in the group, parents passing away, sisters having brain hemorrhages, things like that, and we just didn't know how to deal with it. We weren't old enough to, we'd been in this rock and roll band living the life, and a lot of hard times had passed us by because we were protected from that by being in a band, in the dressing rooms and on the stages, and when real life hit home, we didn't quite have the skills to deal with it, to keep ourselves keep our unity going. But it's not to say we didn't achieve what I think we were capable of. We achieved, and that was a great thing.
It was a great time for the band. The other thing he told us about, that you and him sat across the guitars and wrote a World Cup song for the Wales team. Is that true?
I think we kind of messed around with it a couple of times. Nothing specific. It was, we were always trying to come up with something like that. That would have been when that was probably around about '85 when you lot knocked us out.
That's exactly what he said to me. He says, Mike and I had this idea for a song, but you guys knocked us out, so thanks for that.
Yeah, exactly. And Eddie and I were at the game at Millennium Park, when Jock Steen passed away. Mike England punched the head of the FAW afterwards for being disrespectful. And it was Mickey Thomas gave me a shirt from that night.
And are you starting work on the World Cup song for this Wales team?
I think the Manics or the Super Fairies have that job.
I think if it went to a hashtag vote on Twitter, it would come out as Mike Peters. I've got a few questions people have buzzed in. Mike, Jim Reed's has asked me a couple of things. What's it like to have the same birthday as George Harrison?
Yeah, it's quite something. I was lucky enough and privileged enough to meet George Harrison one night, and he was a fantastic man. I met him at a Bob Dylan concert, and got talking to him in Birmingham, and I never said a word to the rest of the Alarm that I met him, because I thought they'd go mad. They'd be, oh, how come you got to meet him and we didn't? And the night afterwards, we went to London. We were recording the Change album. I went to see Bob Dylan at Wembley Arena with the rest of the Alarm, and before the show, we walked into this backstage bar, and there was George Harrison was at the bar, and we all stopped getting our tracks and going, look, there's George Harrison, said Twisted Drummer, and Eddie and I, and then George Harrison looked over and went, all right, Mike, how's it going?
You're
the chins hit the floor when they thought I was friendly with George Harrison.
Superb.
I knew him for a couple of days, met him for a couple of days.
Well, you could dine out in that story for a while. You met George Harrison.
Very, very gracious and very witty, and there's a lot more stories where that came from.
Fantastic. Couple of messages. Sue McDermott's got in touch saying just love watching the videos of the songs and Alarm. Sending much love and healing prayers to you, Jules, and family. I hope to see you both again in London the 20th of May next year.
Yeah, we'll be in May, but we'll be in Glasgow, I think, on the 13th.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be, really. It was going to be this coming month, but unfortunately, my wife Jules is diagnosed with breast cancer. She just had a second chemotherapy session this afternoon. I've just come from the hospital, brought my boy to the football. I'm chatting to you, but unfortunately, that sort of shadow has come over our lives again, and we've had to deal with it. But I'll tell you what, the fans have been amazing. They totally understood why we've had to move the shows, and absolutely behind us all the way. And
100%.
It's what helps us get through it, to be honest.
I mean, I've had loads of messages.
To make it.
Loads of messages. Mikey Callan saying, just let Mike know we're all thinking of Jules. Him and everybody else is going through their own personal battles. He's an inspiration the way he's faced these things up. David West from America has asked, can you ask Mike about the Gathering in America? Is that still on? Is that still going to happen?
It's still on, yeah. April the 22nd at UCLA, where the Spirit of 86 contest took place. So it's going to be a special event, that's we're really looking forward to that, and that's kind of the start of the touring season again, which will bring us to Glasgow a few weeks later. We'll be touring around Britain for all of May, and there's some more dates to be added. We just added an appearance at the Bearded Theory Festival in Derbyshire yesterday, and I'm really looking forward to that, because we're playing with Skunk Anansi, Slave, New Model Army are playing as well. It's going to be a great weekend, so looking forward to being part of that.
No, that's great, and as I say, I'm glad. I mean, obviously, health-wise, Jules is not great, but she's getting well looked after. And
I tell you what, she's doing amazing. I've just been in hospital all day with her, and she has been incredible. She's got a great bond with the nursing staff. The NHS has been brilliant.
Amazing.
We've been talking about all sorts of things today, but she's so positive. And I have to say, I came out of the hospital with her, and we went on a 5-mile walk. That's how brilliant she's doing, and she's really stepped up to her fitness to get through this, and using that as part of her armoury to get through it. She's having some pretty intense chemo, and on December the 23rd, she's going to have chemo once a week for 9 weeks. So she's going through a pretty intense time. But she's dealing with great humility, and what she's how she's doing it. It's really inspirational for me to see as a husband and a carer and a friend. I'm just absolutely so blown away where she's coping with it. It's a very physical attack on Jules.
No doubt.
Had 2 surgeries. She's struggling with her hair and her womanhood, but she's really determined to hang on to her dignity, and she's been amazing. So it'll be a great event at the Gathering and beyond, and
without a doubt.
At the gigs again.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough.
Get on with life again.
Yeah, totally. I've been lucky enough to work with Lydia and David, and Nicola Johnson and Brian Finney up here with the hashtag gigs for Love, Hope, Strength.
Great people.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously something you're heavily involved in. You set up. How did that come about?
Well, because of my own journey with cancer, I've been obviously living with it for 21 years now, and in 2007 I was having a second run-in with leukemia. I was having a big treatment regime with chemotherapy myself, and I just felt like it was time to pay back to the NHS, and so we started. I started an event to climb Snowdon and raise funds for NHS in Wales, and obviously it spilled out a few years later, climbing Everest,
Ben Nevis,
Kilimanjaro, and we've done Ben Nevis.
I had a message from Ashley Gray from Cumbernauld sending you best regards about doing Ben Nevis next year.
Raised some really good money on Ben Nevis, and we were so far gone to the Beats and Cancer Centre in Glasgow, and we're talking with Maggie's. In fact, we're talking about Maggie's cancer centres today, because they do such amazing work. It started in Scotland, but it's becoming something that's popping up all over Britain now. And So that's something we've got some funds put back into that we want to give to Maggie's as well. So
Brilliant.
yeah, we'll hopefully do Ben Nevis again. We couldn't do it last year because I relapsed and we had Glastonbury and all that. And then this year it's happened to Jules. So whether we can commit to more than one event, we're not quite certain yet.
Do you just need to play it by ear?
Scotland. We'll be back to Scotland before long.
Cool.
We loved climbing Ben Nevis.
On a serious matter, Stuart Hodkinson got in touch with me, passing on his regards to you and all the family, and asking, did you remember to put the bins out on the right day?
Yeah, I did, funny enough. I've got good at that now. I'm home.
There you go. Yeah, a couple of more questions that we're going to play in the Poppy Fields, Mike. We're really so grateful for you joining us on CamGlen tonight.
Oh, thanks, Graham. Thanks for having the show, Brian.
Couple of last questions. James O'Neill's asked me, he's heard you do loads of covers. Bob Dylan, The Damned, The Ramones, The Clash. He's even seen you cover Like a Virgin. His favourite is Pinball Wizard from the Barland in 1985. He wants to know what your favourite song?
I love that. In fact, I played a gig in New Haven in Connecticut just in September, and the guys who were opening the show were all massive Alarm fans, and they knew how to play Pinball Wizard like we used to play it in Glasgow.
Get in.
You've referred. So we did it together on the encore. And it was pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Cool as.
So it's a great. I love Pinball Wizard. It's the Who helped. To me, they really probably one of the biggest influences on the Alarm. Certainly in the songwriting mode, because Townsend could show his anger, but he could also show his sensitivity. If you think of "Won't Get Fooled Again," then you listen to something like "Behind Blue Eyes." They're night and day in terms of songs, but brilliant lyrics, and often that gets forgotten about Pete Townsend. I think his lyrics are amazing because his guitar playing's so good. You tend to focus on that, but and it must be frustrating for him writing all those incredible lyrics, and then some blonde bloke has to sing it instead of him.
Absolutely.
But what a voice he's got, Ronnie Daltrey. I mean, he's incredible. So great, brilliant band. Love the Who.
Got a couple of more questions. I mean, last night, so talking to songwriters, and another songwriter passed away last night, Leonard Cohen. Maureen McDermott from Dubai's been in touch. Can you ask Mike what his favourite Leonard Cohen song was? Do you have any favourites?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't know a lot about Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I've got to hold my hand up here. He's one of those guys that sort of has passed me by, but somebody I've still got on my list of people I want to discover.
Yeah.
And my friend Dave Salt, who was one of the crew members with the Alarm in 1985-86, he crewed for us at the UCLA gig. You can see him running across the stage at one point on the film. He ended up going off to work for Status Quo for many years, and then he was Leonard Cohen's tour manager on the last tour, and he was always phoning me up saying, "You've got to come and see Leonard, this is, it's not going to be that many more, and I've got to get there," and I never got to see him live, and I always thought that's how I wanted to start with him, see him live, because I've got some friends who are massive fans, and they all keep saying, "You don't forget the records, you've got to go and see him live."
Yeah.
And obviously I'm aware of Hallelujah and some of the classics that he's known for, but I've never had a Leonard Cohen album. I was always a Bob Dylan man.
Yeah,
and I always thought him as being, of the same ilk, and if you got one, you didn't need the other. But now he's someone I admire, because I think he's become more popular in the latter years than he was when he started out. And I just feel like he's become a massive artist in the last 10 years. And it's something that you can aspire to as myself. I'm 57 now, and I can aspire to that, because I still want to keep making music.
He's in his 80s, so you've got a whole career in front of you, Mike.
I hope so.
As I say, I've got one more question to ask. We're going to have James Stevenson on the show in about half an hour. He's drawing the competition.
Say that big kid for me.
Will do. The question is, what is the link between James Stevenson, Smiley, Craig Adams and Mark Taylor?
Yeah, well, we have a great relationship as friends as well as musicians, and I think that's what keeps it really healthy. we're not living in each other's pockets.
But when you get together...
And everyone has their own freedom of expression outside the alarm. We're not all pouring it into the alarm. James plays with Chelsea, with the International Swingers. He's just done the Man Who Sold the World tour with Tony Visconti.
That's right.
and doing the whole David Bowie thing. Smiley's on tour with Archive right now. I've got a new album out, massive European band.
Yeah.
Craig's out with The Mission. Mark Taylor's doing something with Mick Jones from The Clash.
Is he really?
The AD and Rotten Hill Gang. Yeah, so everyone, when we get together, everybody's full of stories and full of influence and outside experiences. And it makes, and then so when we come together as the Arm, we all know that we're the five that have got a magic chemistry, and everything else fuels into that, and it's exciting, but we're not clingy of each other, if you know what I mean. So we're the kind of band, we all go for a beer after the rehearsal, and we're all laughing and joking, and we carry that on into rehearsal and have a great friendship. But there's, Mark's been with me since 1985. He's, outside of myself, he's the longest running member of the band, Mark Taylor. He's been in and out with us ever since. He was at the UCLA gig. He was at the Bands Reunited show in 2003. And he's part of what we've been doing with the Poppy Fields and the future of the band. So he's spanned all aspects of what we do. And, and James, I love James to bits. He's one of my best friends outside the rock and roll and in, and he's a great guitarist, really versatile. And I'm sure you'll have a great chat with him there.
Cool stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, thank you so much for your time joining us on CamGlen Radio.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
Great stuff. You take care. Pass on best regards to the Jules and all the family.
I will. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. You take care.
Cheers now. Bye-bye.
CamGlen Radio, 107.9 FM. Your voice, your music, your station.